What's up? What's up? What's up? What's going on, people? Sorry for the delay. Here we are, some technical difficulties. Welcome to this episode of So I Was in This House. Today was an exciting week. We actually had I'm wearing the hat, the Kenerator hat. We had the Kenerator launch release officially after months and months of working on this thing behind the scenes. We finally went live in Dallas. So very excited about it. A lot of good things happening, and a lot of more better things to come too. And I think at one point in time during this episode, might even show the the one video that really hasn't been released. A lot of you guys had seen the release of the Ken Goodrich kind of story, the Kenerator story when he was a kid. I thought that was really, I really liked it. It's a great story. Ken does a great job of on the commercial. So more to come. So we've got just a whole lot going on. I've been bell to bell to bell to bell to bell to bell, and also trying to have really cool guests on this podcast. So without further ado, today's guest is actually, well, I'll just let him on here. Michael, what's up? What's going on, buddy?
Surprise.
Michael and I have something in common, and we are both from the great state of New Jersey.
That's
Jersey
right.
boy. Although he left and emigrated away a long time ago. But his roots, I know it's when you have a family that's from Jersey, like he'll tell you, when you have a family that's from Jersey, it's like you're just like always from Jersey. This is like the way it is. You know what I mean? Like it's just the way it is.
Yeah,
right or wrong.
I always tell people, I'm like, on the East Coast, man, we talk and then we think. We'll clean up our mess after the fact.
Yeah. Speak for yourself, bro. When I speak, it's authoritative and always correct.
Sounds like New Jersey folk.
That's it, bro.
I laughed. I mean, I was sitting on, I'd taken my wife to see the Statue of Liberty once. We were there with my cousin and his girlfriend at the time. And, the ferry can take you back to New York or it can take you back to New Jersey. And we were sitting in the Jersey line. Obviously, they're two attractive females. And the security guard says to me, "Hey, are you in the right line?" I'm like, "Hey, what are you talking about, man? We're going back to Jersey." He goes, "Just need to make sure women like that don't go to New Jersey." I was like, man, what a
I don't know if that's true. I don't know if that's true.
Yep. You should stick to security.
I'm married to Hottie. I'm married to Hottie from Jersey, bro.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. But so yeah, man. So from Jersey, you go back, you ever go to visit the shore?
I mean, I've been to the shore a couple of times, but we're close, man. Not really too much. There are multiple times. It's always nice.
Yeah. Some technical difficulties here with Michael here. So yeah, so I was talking to Michael offline here for a minute, and he was saying that as a kid he was living in Arizona, but he would go back and he would visit and I guess go to the Jersey Shore. Yeah. And yeah, it's tough, man. You go, and it's funny too because a lot of people make fun of Jersey in a lot of ways. Like they do. They just it gets the worst rap. People make fun of it. And the funny part about it is that there's just now I just saw a little clip, like a video that showed that they're going to start making more and more films there because the state's finally doing something good where they're having tax incentives if you film there. And it makes sense. And here's the really interesting part about this growing up there. You're 1 hour to the mountains, you're 1 hour to the beach, you've got forests. It's like really weird. You got to kind of have everything there. And you also have a bunch of angry people. So
yeah, I mean, that's all news to me. I don't know. I'm proud. I'm proud to be from there. I still got a lot of family back there, and yeah, it's nice. Yeah, I know that we had a connection difficulty there, man. I was saying I don't go to the shore often, believe it or not.
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna work through this. We're gonna get through. We're gonna get through it, Michael. We're gonna get through this one way or the other. Yeah, for sure. There's a little bit of a hiccup here with your connection. That's part of the challenge of when you go, and have these interviews over video call. This happens all the time. I had one episode where I actually the actual feed, my Wi-Fi went out completely. I had no Wi-Fi at all. And so I was on with Josh Crouch from Relentless Digital and from what is it? The Service Business Mastery podcast. And he actually took over the podcast. I was gone. I lost power. The whole thing went gone. He took over the podcast for about I don't know. It was a solid amount of time. It was a good amount of time. I think it was like 15 minutes. It was funny because Doug Wyatt, who owns Synergy Learning Systems, was actually in the chat and like watching it the whole time too. And there were some other people too, but it was really, really interesting. So, all right, now I can kind of see you clear. I see the fan moving in the background. Let's see if you're rocking.
Am I coming through?
Now you're coming through. Yeah. Hopefully
I was ready to get on the phone.
yeah, we'll keep it as a backup just in case, man. Keep it as a backup just in case.
I'll be ready.
So I named this episode Left for Dead because the first time you and I talked, you told me your story. And I know you've talked about it a lot. You have. You speak it, right? I mean, well, okay, do this, right? Michael, for those people that don't know you, who are you?
So my name's Michael Venidis. I'm the CXO of a well-respected digital marketing agency called Rhino Strategic Solutions. It's about second largest in the nation. And we just do digital marketing for home service companies. But, I think the story that we're here to talk about, right, is like I wound up there because, well, I was shot 2 times and left for dead at a park overnight. It was a complete career change. At the time I was a front man for a rock band. I was trying to pursue one of my younger dreams and passions. And, you have like a crazy life story that something wild happens to you and you live to tell the tale. Here we are.
So what happened? Like what actually transpired? I remember you telling me, but go into detail. Like what happened that night? Where were you? And then how did, obviously you talk about it. So I'm guessing it's not that traumatic to you anymore. At least, you've kind of gotten past that point.
Totally, man. I used to avoid talking about it. I didn't really start openly talking about it until, I don't know, maybe the last year or two. And a lot of that was because Sean Michael Crane helped me change my perspective on things a little bit. I'd always worried like people would think that I was craving attention or it was like a woe is me. I care so much what people think, and you grow up, you learn that like if you ever want to do something special, you can't afford to care what people think, right? Like you have to be bold, you have to be brave, you have to go out there on a limb, share your testimony. And I started being more open about it. So totally, open book on the whole experience. And
who's that guy you just referenced? Who is that guy?
So Sean Michael Crane is he's a personal development coach, and I'm always looking for a coach. So I had found him on Facebook. And he now works pretty closely with Tommy, Josh Kelly, like
Tommy Mello.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He runs a program called Unstoppable 365.
Mm-hmm.
And, he's just all about mindset, fitness. But it's like I've always been one to want to coach because I feel like, you do a lot better in life when you have an accountability partner. But the thing about Sean is, his story was unique. It was a lot different. And he overcame adversity in a way that I felt like was next level. I respected it. And, like I want next level people to be coaching me. Right. So,
so you got through it. All right. So rewind the clock here. All right. Where were you?
Oh, when I got shot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was downtown here in Phoenix, Arizona. I was at an art walk. What had happened is we were just trying to kind of hang out on a Friday night and walk around downtown, check out art. And, they have like all these vendors that roll down and they call it First Friday here in Phoenix. Ironically, I'd never been to one before. It was like the first time I ever went. And my buddy and his girlfriend invited me out, and she had a friend, so it was like I wouldn't even call it like a double date. It was just like we were in pairs, but we had walked around and just tried to kind of explore the event, and we ended up getting separated. And that gal that I was with just had way too much to drink, man, way too much. And I ended up being the sober guy because I had forgotten my wallet, which something never happens. Like, that's just not something I do. So it's interesting, the way that it all worked out. But we were basically headed back, calling it a night, and we just bumped into the wrong group, and she started just saying the wrong things to the wrong people, and I was in an awkward situation, and it just kind of evolved from there. I would eventually kind of end up walking off because I really couldn't really get her to like cooperate, or
So she's drunk.
oh
You're
yeah,
trying to you're on your way home, really. You're sober. You guys bump into a crowd of whatever, hooligans, whatever it is.
yeah.
And then what? Like there's like words back and forth, like there's some kind of
It's like a rap battle, as silly as it sounds. I mean, I remember it so clear. They were jokingly starting to do, it's like, you ever watch Eminem's movie 8 Mile? They're like doing this diss rap battle thing, and it just started heating up. I remember texting my buddy. I'm like, I'm the only guy here. She is wasted, and there's like 5 or 6 guys here, all like gang affiliated. Like, this isn't gonna go well. Like, I texted them and said, "Where are you at? Like, I don't think this is gonna be good." And the part that I'm like a little self-conscious about, like sometimes I feel bad, but I'm also like, let's be real, it's like she wouldn't cooperate, she wouldn't listen. And as much as I tried to like defend her and talk her out of like, hey, let's go, she just wouldn't listen.
what is she saying though? Like
She's just ignoring me, and she's continuing to rap, and like there's some racial slurs in there. Like, she's legit drawing attention to herself and asking for trouble. So for me, I'm like, like, have you ever been in a situation where you got 5 guys and your response, it's almost like they perceive you as the responsible individual? It was really, really intimidating, man, if I'm being completely honest. Like, so I was like, you know what, guys, like, she's had a lot to drink, and like, I can't force her to, I'm sorry that she's behaving this way. I tried to get her to go with me. She wouldn't listen. So it finally got to the point where I'm like, fine, you know what? Like, if this is how you want to handle the situation, you do you. And I walked away. I started walking ahead and heading on, like, and she continued to sit there and go back and forth with them. But I get like maybe a quarter mile ahead, like I'm walking to my car, and I'm cutting through this park because my buddy's house is like right there. Like, he lives across from the park. Before anyone thinks I'm weird walking through a park at 11 o'clock at night. Like,
dude, I walk through parks all the time. It's my favorite thing. In the middle of the night, I just walk through parks. It's my favorite.
Well, I like, you live life on the wild side, my man. Downtown Phoenix.
No, I just
Central
live near
Roosevelt.
I just live near safe parks, dude.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, that's a good point, right? Because Central and Roosevelt downtown is not a safe park. It's called Margaret T. Hance or Mary T. Hance. I can't remember.
So it's got a bunch of vagrants that are all hanging out in there. All right, so she's a half mile behind you. You walk on. You go to cross this park.
Right. I'm cutting through it to go to the car, but then this guy just says, "Give me your wallet." I just turned around, and I see this guy with a bandana over his face, holding a gun to my face, telling me, give him my wallet. And I told him, I mean, you're not going to believe this, but I don't, of all the people, like, I don't have my wallet, and I'm slowly going to show you that, if that's okay. Like, I'm asking for permission. And then he doesn't even really respond. He just tells me, well, then give me the iPhone. And that was the part that was always weird to me, because I'm like, who just assumes it's an iPhone? And that was the part where I triggered. Like, I kind of, again, he's got a bandana, but I'm looking at him, and I put 2 and 2 together. I'm like, you're one of the guys that was just sitting here on the corner, like, throughout this whole altercation and this whole rap battle thing. Like, he followed me is what he did. You know, it's almost like he went ahead and they continued to go back and forth with her, you know, and I tell him, listen, like, I don't know why you want the iPhone. Like, it's got a GPS in it. And I mean, I think that's where I got what was coming to me. You know, I think back and I'm like, why did I even say that? It's like I had this tough guy mentality. You know, I was 25. But before I could even hand him the phone, you know, he shot me, and it went off twice. So sometimes I wonder if like he accidentally pulled the trigger. Sometimes I wonder if like it was an intentional like shoot to kill, and he didn't even want the iPhone, because this guy's like a couple of feet away, and when you've got a gun pointed to your face, it's, you know, he ended up hitting me in the first time he hits me down on like my thigh, and then it's like I had this natural instinct to lunge at him. So the second time he shoots again, which it's pretty much like back to back, and then hits me in the side. And at that point, you know, he just took off. He literally ran off. You know, and then next thing you know, I'm laying out in the park and going through all the emotions and the feelings, and yeah, it's pretty wild, man.
Wow. So did he take the phone?
No, that's the
Wow.
funny thing is, like, when I
Now,
woke up in the hospital, they had the cops had it in the evidence room. I had to explain to them that he never actually touched a phone because they wanted to check it for prints.
wow. Okay. So that's like acutely what happened. When you woke up in the hospital?
Yeah. Well, I
Okay.
mean, there was sporadic moments, you know, like I woke up when they were cutting my clothes off of me. I woke up while they were wheeling me into the surgery, and they were like a minute, you know, and then I would like pass out again.
Wow. So when you hit the ground initially, how long was it, do you think, before you passed out?
Oh gosh, I wish I could tell you. I mean, at this point, it's like 12 years ago. It wasn't long. I mean, I remember there was enough to, it's like one, you don't just hit the ground, you know, like I dropped to a knee,
Yeah.
and you kind of hunch over, and it all happens so fast, and it takes the air out of you. Like a lot of people ask me that question. They say, "What's it like getting shot?" And I said, "Well, it happens so fast that your body goes into shock." And in my particular experience, I don't know if it's just because like it hit me in the stomach, but it felt like the air was completely stolen from me, and I'm like trying to breathe. And the weirdest thought goes through your head, like because it's so surreal. My first thought was that he shot me with a beanbag. Like you ever see in the movies how the cops will use like these stun guns where they shoot you with something to like knock you out, but not actually shoot you.
Yeah.
That's what I thought it was. And I don't know why my mind went to that, but I'm just like, okay, I'm going to be fine. So I went to try and stand up. I never actually like fully fell to the ground. Like it's almost like I fell on one knee and it grabbed my stomach. And it was like the minute I tried to stand up, think of like, you know, the most harsh cramp, you know, that you could ever imagine. And then that was when I looked at my hand and I'm like, this is my holy shit moment. You know, I'm like, holy wow, I'm actually shot. This just happened. And the minute your body realizes reality, it all changes. Like then it just felt like the cramp just kept going and going and going. And it was to the point where I had to like curl up into a ball because it's just like, you know, it's just very tense, right? And I was awake long enough to call. I called my mom, um, to leave her a voicemail, which I still have to this day. Like she sends it to me every once in a while because it's just the most humbling thing to hear yourself in the most vulnerable position like that you've ever been in your entire life.
Wow.
But I basically called her and just wanted her to know what happened. You know, I just told her what happened. And then I just hung up. You know, that was it. It was like I was so focused on just documenting what happened. And as I think back and like I reflect, I think a lot of it is because we have a general idea how my father died when I was 21, but it wasn't very clear. Like he had a heart attack in his early 40s, which was like wild. But you know, my grandfather had died the week before him, and a lot of the men in my life had passed in ways that we never really got 100% clarity what did it, just like a general idea.
Mm.
So like my natural thought process is my poor mother, like her son too, and I just call her.
Is that what's going through your head when you made the phone call while you're bleeding out on the ground?
No, I mean, the only thing going through my head is I want you to know what happened. And it's the weirdest thing, like when I have these conversations, because one might be like, well, why didn't you call 911? And I'm like, I can't answer that. I don't know
Yeah.
why. Like my
Wow.
first thought was call my mom.
So you make the call to your mom, you're on the ground, you're bleeding out. Now, my question is, because it's so fast, right?
Right.
Like,
Right.
are you in that moment? What are you thinking? Like, are you thinking like, okay, this is it? Like, did you have that thought go through your head?
At one point towards the end, like it all happens so fast that you don't think that far ahead. Like you don't really go and say, oh, am I dying? Like you're kind of like, okay, I just got to be fast, And for me, it was a matter of letting her know what had happened. And then I started getting tired, and it happens really quick. And that's when your head starts to shift and you're like, okay, is this death? Like I think a lot of people get this false perception that I was shot twice and then I sat there all night, for however many hours, like awake, just waiting to die. Like that's, it's not it. Like it all happened very quick. And then I just laid there all night because nobody found me. So like they shot me and left me in the park, and nobody found me for hours, like until the early
How
morning.
long was it before? How long was it before somebody found you on the ground?
Yeah, I'd have to look at the police report to give you the exact, but it was like, probably somewhere between 2 or 3. So I mean, I'm out there for 5, 6 hours, I would guess,
Dude,
because the
I mean,
shooting happens
it's a
around
miracle,
9.
literally a miracle that you're even alive, because you're shot twice. I mean, through through your stomach. I mean, I can't imagine that you're not bleeding out all over the place.
Well, all I can do is read the police report because, it's hazy. Like when you go through shock, your memory, like even the people that would come visit me in the hospital, like I only remember some of them because they would leave like physical items as like gifts.
Yeah.
But when I read the police report, that was the first thing they had said too. It was almost like being left there throughout the night was more of a bigger problem than the shooting itself, because of the amount of blood loss and the bleeding out and all these things that were happening. It's like they tried to explain in the police report that because I was left there so long, they pulled me in and they did an emergency operation. So they do this, it's like an exploratory operation. They basically bring you in, and hopefully your viewers don't mind the graphic kind of detail, but like they cut you open vertically and they basically explore all of your organs because it's an emergency and they don't really know. You see, I was shot with 22s, which is the smallest bullet,
Smallest bullet. Yeah.
and they bounce. So the first thing they try to figure out, right, is like, is the bullet still intact or did it explode? Because if you got shrapnel throughout the body, like you got bigger problems. And for me, I got lucky because the bullet stayed intact, but they did bounce. And the only organ that they ended up hitting was my bladder, which apparently is it's the best healing organ in the body. Like my entire situation was all best case scenarios.
Wow.
They left the bullets in my body too, because they say you can actually do more harm trying to extract them.
So are they still in your body?
Yeah, to this day.
You
Yeah,
have a
you see them in the
22.
X-rays.
You have a 22 bullet inside your body right now.
222 bullets. Yeah.
They left the one in the thigh and they left the one in your stomach, in your bladder.
Yeah. Well, the one that went through my bladder now sits like on the inside of my left pelvis. That's how far it shot across my body. It's pretty wild when you think about
So
it.
it stopped at the bone, basically, or
Basically, yeah.
yeah.
What's actually wild is I was just at the chiropractor literally last night, and they showed me the X-rays, and it has since moved. Now it's like closer to the outer thigh,
Huh.
and they were telling me stories. They say like sometimes these wounds, like the bullets extract themselves over time, which is kind of creepy.
Well, yeah. Well, I think things try to make its way out of the body, right? That don't belong there. Oh,
That's exactly it.
oh my God, dude. That's so fucking crazy, bro.
Yeah,
So
the
like,
whole thing is wild.
okay, so it didn't go through you. It sat, so both sat inside you.
Yeah.
That is crazy, bro.
Yeah.
5 hours. I'm just thinking to myself, like, I got a story today. Like, some guy I met told me that, I don't know if it's true. This is what he told me. Very thick accent. He said about 8 years ago, he had cancer. He went to the hospital and he was on like this, like he's very specific. He's like, I was on the 6th floor and everybody that goes to the 6th floor dies. That's just where they put the people that are pretty much going to die.
Oh, wow.
He said that his congregation for his church came and started praying like crazy. He woke up, he pulled out everything, he walked out of the hospital. He went back for testing. They couldn't find the cancer.
I mean,
I don't know. That's what he says. I don't know. Is it possible? Who knows? It's possible you're alive, right?
Yeah. I mean, listen, it's wild stuff, but I'm a believer. You know, I mean, like I've even, you ever heard about vortexes? You ever heard about this?
Maybe.
I mean, Sedona is 2 hours, give or take, from Phoenix here, and it's known to have vortexes.
Yes, I have heard this.
I didn't know what a vortex was. Like, to make a long story short, I was just doing a hike, and I had like a pain in my knee to the point where I was using like a hiking stick. And then it was weird when I came down, I just kind of stepped wrong and I realized this doesn't hurt anymore. What? And then I went to like lunch with a buddy afterwards, and all the locals would say, you experienced the vortex. Like, people come here with pains all the time that naturally heal themselves because of the vortex. And like, this is some hippie stuff, man.
When you were out, do you recall having an out of body experience when you were on the ground?
No, I wish I did. I don't recall having that. The things that I recall the most is like the cold hard truth of like all of the individuals that were saving my life. I mean, I never lost my sense of humor. I mean, I remember when they were cutting my clothes off of me in the park, I complained. I said, come on, man, this jacket's brand new.
Oh,
and
wow.
They all laughed.
Dude, that's crazy.
Wow. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's weird. But when I got in the operating, when they were rolling me on the gurney or whatever into the operating procedure, I had woken up just long enough, and I asked the nurse, I said, am I going to be okay? And she was so honest. She goes, that's the thing, buddy. We're trying to figure that out. Just hang in there. And then I blacked out again. Those are the only 2 times I remember waking up. Like, I don't remember the ambulance. I didn't have an out of body experience.
Do you have like a pretty like gnarly scar from them doing the exploratory surgery? Or
yeah, it's about, I would guess maybe 8 inches.
Did you tat it all up? Because I know your arms are all, you got all the
no. So my whole body is tattooed except for that.
Oh, you literally tattooed everything but that scar. That's so funny.
It's just turning out that way. Like, it's just getting in there. I mean, I'll eventually get to it. At this point, it's one giant tattoo.
Dude, you got to fly into Dallas, man. I'm friends with like a super famous tattoo artist. He's like Ink Master guys, like crazy.
I'll be there next week.
There you go. So the surprise of this story comes in the form of what happened afterwards. Like, because they found the guy, right?
They did. He ended up being a 13-year-old kid in gang affiliation. You know, what had happened is that time that I was telling you, I texted my buddy because I just had a hunch. The shock made me forget that I sent the text. And the shock also made me forget that I actually managed to secretly take a photo of them. So when they had brought my phone back to me in the hospital after I confirmed that it wasn't valid evidence, they never touched it. I'm like sitting in the hospital bed in recovery, and I just turn on my phone, and, you know, it's exciting, right? Because at the time I'm a front man of a band, and I got like a lot of acquaintances and just, you know, friends in the community, and like, you're alone, you know, you're at your low. Like, I was excited to just have people again and text and call or whatever. But what ends up happening is I open up my gallery, and the shock made me completely forget that I took photos. So I full blown started like hyperventilating, like in the hospital bed, you know, like my heart rate shoots up, and you just hear all the stuff going off because like I went into full blown, like, holy crap. So anyways, I call the police, and I end up telling them, like, you're not going to believe this. And they turn these photos into what's called a silent witness program. I still have the commercial today, like on the anniversary of the shooting every year, January 6th. I posted on Facebook, and I posted the commercial that they played on television that eventually led to the guy's friends calling him in and, you know, calling him out, right? $1,000 reward, 13-year-old kid. Like, we knew we were going to catch him. So then I had to like pull him out of a lineup and do all these, all that stuff.
And what happened from there? What happened to him? What happened? Like, how'd that all go?
He's dismissed without prejudice, which in normal terms means they didn't feel like we had enough proof. It was my word against his. The park, like the cameras at the park weren't working. There were no witnesses, right? So basically,
you're certain that this was the guy. Like,
it's the same thing the prosecutor asked me, and I told him, like, if you're asking me to walk into this courtroom and tell you that I'm 100%, like, I'm not going to do that. Like, I'll tell you I'm 98. And the prosecutor couldn't get over that. Like, it was something where he said, like, if you can't confidently walk in and say that this is the guy,
right? You can't put somebody to, well, okay, so it's like reasonable doubt, but you're going to put a 13-year-old kid in jail for the rest of his life and not be 100% sure. I don't know how I'd feel. But I don't know.
You get it. Like, listen to what you just said, because that's what I said too. It's like, it's one of two things. I can, like, ask yourself, if you had two options, right? Would you rather wrongfully put a 13-year-old kid away and damage and ruin his life? You know what I mean? Like, or would you rather not put this kid away and hope that, like, this is an eye-opening moment? Because people come to me and they say, well, he's going to hurt somebody else. He's going to hurt somebody else. Like,
yeah. Oh my gosh. What a philosophical conundrum. So it would be very interesting. I'm a person of second chances. I know a lot of people, and I've met people who are like, nope, people don't change. They are who they are. I've been screwed over so many times, this, that, the other thing, but people just don't change. I've seen transformation, and I know that, like, and I'm not talking about small transformation, like, oh, I went on a diet and I got a six pack, and I'm talking about real life forming transformation. I've seen it happen.
Yeah.
And at 13 years old, you don't know your fucking ass from your elbow. You don't know anything. You literally know exactly nothing. And look, that kid probably would have gone away, got put in the juvie system. Now, who knows what really happened to him? He could be on the streets today. He could be a gangbanging criminal for all we know.
Possible.
But had he gone away, who knows? Maybe there's a rehabilitation process there that he goes through as well. You don't want to go back to juvie, but think about it. Like, they're 13 years old. They're not going to try him as an adult. Assault with, deadly weapon, maybe even intent, whatever it is, whatever the charges are. I'm going to guess 10 years minimum. Like, right. The kid's going to do 10 years. He's going to come out at 23 years old with no life skill. Well, maybe he has life skills. Who knows? We don't know. Interestingly enough, the last 4 episodes I did on this podcast were from prison to the trades. All of the people that were on that podcast I'm dropping and it's not for everybody on the live and the video, but on the audio, when I drop the audio, I encourage everybody to listen to those episodes, because the things that these gentlemen are saying about the way they turn their lives around is insane. Here's the crazy part, Michael. They were like, I said, look, if you could rewind the clock and you had regrets, because all of them had turned their lives around, every single one of them, to a point where I'm talking incredible success to some of them, right? One of them invented the HVAC simulator. He's like a full-blown engineer now, right? He spent 15 years in prison, right? Dirk Newman. And they said it wouldn't change anything. Like, there's nothing, like, they would still go through it, and they became rehabilitated in the prison system. So it's very interesting. And one spent 13 years 9 years on his last gig, last stint, knowing from the day he went in that he'd been in and out for years, knew the second he went in there that he was never going back in. Like, knew it. Because some are like, I'm going to end up here, in and out. So that's very introspective.
Well, think about it. This is a topic that I get really, like, passionate about, because you have to understand that opposition creates balance. Okay. Like, typically every single uber successful, like, whoever your idol is, they didn't get to where they are through an easy life. Right. And for some of them that might just be hard work, but for many of them, like they've experienced hardship in some way, shape, or form, right? Like the pendulum swings both ways. And I think we have to understand that. It's like one, I think there's twofold here. Is one, like a life where I constantly think the worst of everybody and I believe in no hope, no second chance. Like I have my defense up all the time. People screwed up, like they're screwed, period. Like that doesn't sound like a fun, fulfilling life. Right. And all of us walk around, especially in leadership, right? Like, because I talk about this with the rhinos all the time, is it's like we all say it, right? We win or we learn. We win or we learn. Nobody wants to talk about losing, right? Because to lose, you learn. You can't say that without hardship, you have greatness. And I'll give you an example. Like I was blessed. I got the opportunity to go speak to about, I don't know, there's maybe 40, 50 kids at Orange County Juvenile Detention Center. And this opportunity, when it presented itself, and I went in there and spoke to them, some of these kids still write letters to me to this day. Some of these kids murdered people. And some of these kids I'm having like a conversation with, and, like you'd be amazed at what they say and how much regret they have. Or, life is a complex thing. Like, I'm not trying to say that we've got to I'm not saying everybody's innocent. Okay. I want to make that clear. But what I am saying is without second chances, hardship, you really don't have the opposition that is very, very necessary for the amount of success that we're typically looking for in life.
I agree. Yeah. And there's like, the hard road. Oftentimes most success stories that I've seen are people that have gone through some sort of, insane struggle of some sort.
Well, because they have a connection to it. Like they're emotional.
Well, also, I have a quote here. It's like, you really don't understand what it's like to be wealthy unless you've been poor.
That's right.
And life is based on comparison. You don't really understand small unless you have large, right? So you have to have sort of that contrast. What you say, opposition creates balance. The yin, the yang, dude, couldn't have, and I love stealing that quote. I've never heard that before. Hey, I love this conversation. I think we're having a great time. I have a sponsor. I want to throw it out there. I have to give love, but I should have done this earlier. And I wanted to just say, guys, Cooper and Hunter, fantastic. They got a nice little video here that they put together. And, if you guys visit, they do VRF systems. They have new heat pumps, air handlers. They got multi-zone ductless mini splits, all sorts of stuff. And also, I got a new sponsor this week, Breeze Leasing Systems. Breeze Leasing is home service leasing for people who have some credit issues. They have an out with Breeze Leasing. You can get in touch with my buddy Hamilton over there. It is literally breezelease.com. And they do everything, HVAC, generator, whatever it is. So very cool. And boom.
Cooper and Hunter's new peak unit runs efficiently up to 19 SEER 2 with BTU capacity that ranges between 18 to 55,000 for indoor and outdoor units. Compared to a traditional gas furnace, Peak's revolutionary design is ready to step in without a hassle, thanks to its adaptive multi-voltage. True high-performance hyper units provide a 100% heating output at -13 degrees. Looking inside the unit, the new M-Coil is highly efficient and provides a better airflow that reflects in a higher static pressure. Our Smart Kit is included, giving you access to control your device from the comfort of your phone. Peak stands for powerful, efficient, auto voltage detection, and quiet. To learn more, visit our website or talk to your local distributor. Cooper and Hunter, addicted to comfort.
Thanks for that, guys. Yep, pretty cool, actually. Yeah, and I've been approached by some sponsors now, and it's all kind of flowing the same direction. And I work for Kenerator, so if you're in Dallas and you want a power plant. We actually have so Dallas is rolled out with Kenerator, but we also have a location in Houston and Tampa and more in the pipeline. So Houston's a beast, bro. That place is, they're pumping out power plants like crazy, bro. Yeah. It's pretty nuts.
Just make sure that he hands out the capes the same way he was handing out the flashlights for me. Okay.
I'm gonna get actually so, and I'll give a little. This is what we're doing. We're not doing capes. We're actually doing these little transistor radio looking things that have like a you can wind it, and it's got like a solar panel thing on there, and so it can charge your phone, or it can charge or it has like a radio on there. That's actually pretty cool, man. And so we're gonna do that as like sort of giveaways and whatnot, so it's gonna be pretty cool.
That is really cool.
Yeah. So all right, so all this reflection, everything that happened, you get into the field that you're in, digital marketing, home services marketing, and you've now moved up through the ranks, 13 years of doing this. You're the CXO chief experience officer.
Yeah.
You speak around the country, you meet a lot of people. What's cool? What's on the horizon for Michael Venidis?
Man, I love that question. It's something that is such a blessing. The irony of how it all lined up. It's like it's like weird how I would spend the majority of my early life wanting to frontman this band, and I had to let go of that. I took a hard left turn, went into digital marketing, right? And now in the last 2 years to wind up back on stages, leveraging all the years of experience to try and help people grow their life's work. So, to answer the question, it's speaking, it's teaching, it's traveling. I think one of the best things, that I got over my 13 years is a lot of perspective. It's like 13 years of Rhino. I started developing reporting, then I built strategies, then I represented contractors, then I went into leadership. I was just enough time, going through the work, and learning everything to have a very unique perspective, from the chair. So when I think back and I reflect, I'm very blessed in a situation to be in a very unique spot. So to answer the question, man, I'm hoping to spend a lot more time with contractors at these events, genuinely trying to help them. It's anytime I've ever spoken at these events, it's never a pitch. It's always, how do I hand you something that you can do? How can you walk away from this and say, this guy legitimately gave me something that is going to make me better? And I think that's hard. It's hard for a lot of people to do if they haven't actually done the work or been through all the motions. So I just feel like that's my calling, man. You got to go out there, and it's the life's work. That's the thing when we talk about hardship from the shooting. I get really worked up and I get passionate and I'm emotional because, when you go through a traumatic event like that, and then this industry, the home services, created a career for me and helped me find a whole new path. I don't take that lightly, anytime I have a chance to do a webinar like this or podcast, anytime I get a chance to speak in public, I always get fired up and I warn people in advance that I'm passionate and I ask them for their permission because I come at them with a lot of energy, and it's because I want that badly to help, because I wouldn't be who I am today without them.
Yeah. I see a lot of parallels there. So what are you working on now with Rhino? What's the latest and greatest? What's the controversial thing? What's happening now in the industry? What are you battling? What's going on? There's a lot of noise. There's obviously a lot of marketers out there, a lot of marketing companies all trying to, say that they can, do all this and do all that. I know a ton of great, marketeers, if you will.
Yeah.
What would you say separates Rhino, and then what are you facing right now?
Yeah, the two things, and I don't want it to sound like a plug, but
no, so you let me just tell you, you can in this context, you can absolutely plug, because I think it's applicable to the whole journey, the whole thing.
Yeah. This is what I'll say, Eric. The thing that I think is so different is it's not just about generating leads, it's about booking them too. The vision that we have at Rhino specifically, my vision for the team and what I really want in the outcome, it's no different, than Chris and Anna Yano. A lot of the times we spent together, we said, how could we do one step more than what is traditionally expected, right? And we live in this world where we're trying to generate all of these leads and these opportunities for the contractors. And then we just do this, like, okay, here's how many leads you got. Here's what you paid for one. And we walk away, so the new hurdle, the new challenge, like the new goal has always been set. Like, hey, stop walking away after you hand them the call. Let's build something that allows them to actually book the call too. So long story short, like, it's an agency where we want to be supportive all the way through. We don't want to just walk away when the phone rings. Like, we want to help you book it. We want to make sure you're selling it. We want to have conversations about the revenue. So it's front to back, not a lot of agencies are focused on all elements of the consumer journey. They're just focused on the marketing. But the controversial topic, man, is AI, and everybody knows it.
Hold on. Are you doing, so when we say marketing, fine, we got marketing, right? And then are we saying also that you are, are you guys doing the creative end of things where you're creating branding as well? Or is that sort of separate?
No, we have referral partners, that handle branding development for us. Like, we build logos and stuff, but like, if you're trying to put together a brand package, like, we work
like media buy and all that kind of, like media buy, that's not you guys.
Nope, we're solely digital. Like, everything for us is digital, but it's a full suite, right? Anything from new lead to email to OTT, social, paid, organic. Like, we do all forms of digital.
Yeah, and you guys are really involved with Tommy, like with A1, like A1 Garage Doors.
Yeah, so we work a lot with Tommy. Like, he has an in-house team, but like we get on calls with Tommy all the time because he's a marketer, man. Like, he understands the language.
But weren't you guys involved with that? Weren't you guys involved with that journey though? Like, I for some reason I thought you guys were all involved with the whole thing. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, yeah. I mean, we never represented A1 in their digital, but like, obviously we have.
But he gets an invite to the crazy Rhino event, by the way, which I saw pictures and videos of that thing, and it was very intimate, bro. It was very cool. I mean, what do you have, like maybe 50 people there or something like that? It was.
Yeah. I mean, it's all about the experience.
That was really, really cool. I love that. A lot of stories there.
Well, think about it, right? Like, it's all about the experience. It's why we call it Rhino X. And you have to think about the vision, right? Like I just said, the Llanos and I, like, we've always thought, like, how can we do something unique, one step up, different? And how can we give back to the trades? Like, that's a big deal for us, And when you look at it from that perspective, it's like, what if you had a high ticket for 50 people, like, exclusively, giving them, an experience that you really can't get, at an event that's doing like 1,000 tickets.
Right.
And look at that. So, I think we're blessed. Like, Chris is a very well networked individual. And I think one of the benefits that comes from being in our seat, like as an agency, is we have connections. Like, we have so many connections with so many people, whether they're clients or not, right? Like, just like Tommy, like, there's such a friendship there, especially between the two of them. Like, and we have monthly gatherings where we all just get together and we try to get smarter and get better because we're all here in Arizona. But that allows us to create this event where you put so much power in the same room. And because of the meaning of it is so genuine, in the sense that we're just trying to create like a platform where people can go get like hands-on mentoring and solve problems like with people that have been through it. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know, man. You think about the problems you've had in your journey. Like, I'd pay crazy.
There's always, and when you listen to people who have gone through a really cool journey, or that have gone through adversity, or they're public speaking or whatever it is, I always take. I love listening to those people. I love listening to their stories. I've read so many books and listened to so many podcasts on people that have done that. So, and I think truly successful people, and also people that, like, it's never really enough for them. Like, you're probably one of those guys where, like, man, it's never really enough. Like, you're never there. You've never arrived. You're always looking to get more information from somebody else. Like, what did they do? Well, that's interesting perspective. And I was actually woken up this week to basically, and I won't say who it is, but I met a guy and we spent some time together over a couple of days. And maybe you've had this experience too. You're about my age, maybe a little younger. And dude, he's close to 20 years younger than me. And I'm listening to him and I'm like, the perspective was real. And I was like, this is so refreshing. I have not had that type of interaction with somebody. I haven't had a perspective from somebody who's 20 years younger than me that I actually internalized to a point where I'm like, you know what? this is really like, this is actually like really refreshing. It's good to see from a whole nother generation that could still happen in your world.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's well said. I mean, I think about it, right? Like the ages, it really, the age is the odds. That's what I always looked at it, right? Like the younger the age, the lower the odds, right? They've got less experience, but that doesn't change the amount of experience. You know, there's
No, and it's not even, I don't even think it's about full experience, Michael. I think it's about um how you internalize the world, how you see things, and so I don't even know if it's just perspective, not even experience, just perspective of what's your perspective. And guess what? You and I are from the same generation, right? We're both front men. Actually, I just released, by the way, after 10 years, we just re-released our EP. You got to check it out. Four guys from Jersey. We have some metal album. You'll love it. It's called the Lufthansa Heist. It's from Goodfellas. So the name comes from Goodfellas. When Henry goes, what's going on with the Lufthansa? It was the largest heist in the world that ever happened. It was the Lufthansa heist, but he said the Lufthansa heist. So the name of our band was the Lufthansa Heist, Latanza. If you look us up, we're on Apple Music. We're getting all sorts of listens now because my son's into metal and stuff like that, bro. You got to go listen to it. It's actually pretty cool. So we just dropped that. But so anyway, we're from the same, come from kind of the same cloth, and but our generation, which is so weird to say because we're not old, right? But the generation thinks very differently from the next generation. Like I have a daughter who's a Gen Z, right? And she thinks very differently than you and I do about the world and about how things are. And we also came from, we're the last, like real, I hate to say it, we're the last tough society. We really are. We're really, and I don't, I'm not knocking millennials. I'm not knocking, we grew up, it was a little bit tougher. It was a little bit tougher. School was a little bit tougher. Social life was a little bit tougher. Computers and stuff like that didn't even happen until we were in high school, right? Yep. It did, but not really, right? Like you had like, oh, you're sitting there on AOL, like, mom, get off the phone. Mom, get off the phone. So
I remember those days.
So anyway, I not to go on a rant, right? But I have a true passion for understanding and learning people. I guess that's why I've been in the sales world for as long as I have. That being the case, my question to you is, and I ask this on every single episode, okay? Every episode, same question. It's what, and I ask this typically about a customer experience, but it could be an employee experience if you want to. And obviously the shooting is a totally different thing, but typically it's what is one customer interaction, one customer experience that lives with you, that wherever you go, whatever you do, you think about that customer that you had and you're like, man. And I will tell you that for me, it was this elderly woman. I met her. She told her story about how she got here from during World War II. She met her husband. He was a soldier. She was a German citizen in a little village. They were freed by the American military. And the story that she told me, like I sat there for an hour in her kitchen listening to this amazing story about multiple marriages and journeys across the world, and it just blew my mind. So what is yours? What's your one story that lives with you?
You know, I mean, I feel like I have a lot of good ones, but I'm just going to use the first one that came to my mind because I think it comes to my mind for a reason. And then it just kind of, it spiraled. The first thing that I thought was when I was a customer, I'm close to the Hobaikas. Like they live here in Phoenix. Lou and his son, Andy, like I've just grown to be good friends with them. And of course I allowed Hobaika to come in and change a heat pump here at this house. Maybe the end of 23. And what I remember was when he was teaching me how to use the new thermostat. I tell this story when I speak. He basically was standing next to me and just walking me through. And I have hearing aids. I'm partially deaf. It was hereditary. But my right hearing aid dies, and I just said, "Hey, heads up! Like if I say what, it's because my hearing aid just died. But go ahead, I can hear you." So he pauses, looks me right in the face, and then he walks around behind me and stands on my left. And I'm dumbfounded. I didn't piece it together. I'm just kind of like, "What are you doing? Is this part of is there something on this side of the thermostat?" I just didn't. I was slow, I guess. And I said, what's going on? He looks at me, he says, well, you just told me your hearing aid died, right? And the way that he had paused and moved around, like that always stuck with me. And what I always thought about is, I'm like, we spend so much time looking at P&Ls, we look at, dollars, we look at tickets, revenue, but I don't feel like I ever meet people that sit and talk with me and go, hey, let's talk about our product or our service front to back and literally pick it apart. Like everything from A to Z, from the way that you step out of the vehicle, from the way that you park it, from the way that you button up your collar. Like,
dude, you're speaking my language. Speaking my language. You know what I call those? You know what I call those?
What do you call them?
It's marginal gains.
Marginal gains.
Marginal gains.
I dig it.
Quick note on that, right? And I train this in my sales training with my guys. And I say, there's a book, and you've probably read it. It's called Winning by Timothy S. Grover. Have you read it?
I haven't read this one. I haven't read this one.
Oh, man.
I have one from Grover sitting here, though.
You have the other one. Yeah. So in that book, he talks about how he trained Kobe, he trained Michael Jordan. He talks about the differences. They were obsessive people who pushed everybody away, right? But he said that during Michael Jordan's workouts, he would spend time working out his biceps. Well, all the other trainers, all the coaches, all the managers, everybody said, in basketball, there is no benefit whatsoever in your form and anything else to spend this amount of time working out your biceps. And Timothy S. Grover and Michael Jordan's sort of philosophy on this was this, and this was Michael's philosophy, was when he stepped out onto the court, he's got his jumpsuit on, he's got his, jumpsuit on, and he's getting ready to do his pre-warm up right before the game. He takes off his jumpsuit. What's the first thing you see?
His biceps.
Your arms.
Right.
So his thought was it was an intimidation factor for the other team to look at his big arms or his muscular arms and for them to have that. And what his logic here was that at that moment, you are not trying to, because they're already in the NBA. They're the best players in the world. You're not trying to get 1% better. You're not trying to get 5% better. You're trying to get 1/10 of 1% better. And that tiny little thing makes all the difference when you start to add up all those things. The way that he used to take passes in weird contorted ways.
That's right.
Pat Mahomes does that. Pat Mahomes makes passes and does weird things in all sorts of weird contorted ways. If you watch him throw the ball, he literally throws it like a baseball. And he says, I throw it like a baseball. And guess what? He's arguably the best quarterback in the NFL. He's going to first ballot Hall of Famer. He's got 3 Super Bowl rings. It's amazing. So it's amazing what we do when we focus on that kind of stuff. So yeah, anyway.
Peel back the layers. I love that. Thank you for sharing that story because it's the perfect comparison. Peel back the layers. It's always what I'm going to say. Like anytime somebody has ever come to me and they were like, hey, so-and-so is great. Okay, you found your person, your idol. So the next thing you say is, hey, what kind of routines do you have? I'm telling you, you go up and ask anybody, hey, talk to me about some of your routines. I'll give you another example. I had a lot of people sit here and talk about, oh, well, how much money is in the bank? Okay, well, show me your calendar because your calendar creates money, right? How you spend your time. So how do you peel back every single layer? Because if everybody is focused on X, what can you do to peel back and go a layer deeper that contributes to the outcome of X? Right. So it's the same thing to your sense. Like, I think these guys, like, especially when you talk about hardship, obsession, like that hardship, that emotion, that passion causes you to lock in and go crazy. Like leadership is something, it's all I think about all day. I'm like always looking to help, coach, lead, support, motivate, inspire somebody in some way, shape, or form. I can't turn it off. Right. But then, like, because you have that obsession, you start to think, well, what are the little things that I can do? And I can build upon them and keep going on and on and on. And your mind goes in that direction because you can't turn it off. You're not going to think about the same things over and over and over. You get a guy like Michael Jordan, like basketball is what he lives, eat, sleep, and breathe. So as he's going through the motions, like he's eventually going to look for little things,
It's interesting, and we'll wind down here, but it's interesting you say that because you also have to be prepared to alienate. You have to be prepared to prioritize things that other people don't prioritize. You got to make really tough decisions. Success comes with a price. And he writes about that in the book, and it's a good chapter on that. And it's hard to listen to. He actually tells people during the book, it's great to actually listen to it because he narrates it. He tells them, if this is not for you, I'm not telling you this is what you should do. I'm telling you this is what, we did. This is what winners unfortunately have to do. It's like a sacrificial thing, man. It's crazy.
Yeah,
but I've tried to find balance in that. You try to be
way.
as best as you can while also being a family man, while also being a husband, while also being a this, while also being a that. You try to make it all make sense.
Yeah, it's a lot harder said than done for sure. But you'll find that people, they're not asking, what do I have to do? These obsessive people, like they're figuring out what else they can do. They're not looking for the bare minimum. They just can't flip the switch, man.
Well, I love that you shared that story, man. While we wind down here, Michael, how can people find you? What are you looking for? What's your ideal like conversation right now? Tell me, plug something. What do you want?
Yeah, man. So I appreciate that. I'm all over the place. You just look me up. There's only one Venidis. I'm sure you'll have all that stuff in the information for people to reach out. But guys, like when I tell you, I just.
But your Instagram handle is not Michael Venidis. It's Michael something else.
Yeah, I got a little wild because I use Instagram differently. But it's Mikey JV, but it's spelt weird. It's like MYKEEJAYVEE. I'm like intentionally not trying to be found on that because I use Instagram differently, believe it or not. I try to manipulate the algorithm. I don't want to see all of my friends' posts. Like I'm literally just trying to see the same type of content reels over and over and over.
Yeah. So how's that? Michael Venidis, Rhino Digital. You guys can look him up. You'll find him on whatever social media platform you want. And what kind of, let me ask you. So if somebody listening to this, they're in home service, I got a lot of people that listen to their home services. What's your ideal avatar of a customer? What kind of company do you look for? Right. Are you doing a lot of this? Are you doing any sort of, where people contact you, to help them with their business, or are you just doing internal sort of stuff of existing customers?
Totally, man. Listen, I'm a guy that just wants to help. So, yeah, I do tons of consulting, like people that are just looking for digital training, like marketers trying to learn the job, the trade, contractors trying to understand strategy. Like, yeah, I can only really do so many. Rhino is my main focus, but I do take like consulting. I help people with that. But Rhino, our ideal prospect is really any contractor, that wants to grow. And like we have different levels of service offerings, trying to accommodate the majority of all sizes of organizations. But I'm also very big on self-development, man. I'm a gym junkie. Like I think a lot about my career and my development and how I got into leadership. So anybody looking to explore leadership, becoming managers, just really trying to get the hold of their lives. I could even do personal coaching, man. Like no kids. My wife is the VP of digital marketing at Rhino. A lot of people sometimes don't realize that.
Didn't know that. Yeah.
Yeah. So we just love
you guys met at work.
Help people. That's it.
Did you guys meet at Rhino or did you?
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I always joke like, no, I'm not working. No, I wasn't unemployed.
Cool, man. Well, brother Lude, listen, dude, this has been an amazing conversation. I actually, I love your story. I love what you're doing. I think you're doing amazing things. And I want to stay in touch. Do me a favor when you come into Dallas, hit me up. Let's get together if you have any time. And cool, man. All right, I'm gonna sign. You know what's funny? Are you coming in next week?
I fly in on Monday for the Transform conference. We'll be talking about artificial,
which we're not even going to get into on this call on this right here. So wait, you're coming in for the AI conference and Monday, and then you're staying till when?
I should be in there till Thursday night.
Oh, okay. I was going to say I have a gig that weekend, but
oh man, that would have been super cool.
Yeah, and I just play stuff that people want to hear. I just all like cover stuff. It's fun. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, that would have been rad, man.
Yeah, man.
If anything changes, I will let you know. But
hell yeah, dude.
But it is a sales conference. You're welcome to come make an appearance.
I'll try to get there, man. Dude, with Kenerator, I've been swamped, bro. Swamped. I mean, Can't even come up for air. I'm like trying to like catch like little cat naps where I can. I'm like wake up. I'm like, okay, it's crazy. I mean, and it's good. It's good to be busy. I love it. I really do. I really enjoy it. So
yeah,
awesome, dude. Really appreciate you, bro. I have coming up on the show. I got Joe Sarah coming up on the show. I got the controversial Gene Slade coming up on the show. I've got Josh Tikal from Smart ACs coming on the show. So we got some big industry guys coming up on the show. So rock and roll, and I will see you guys next time.